Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! In the last episode we had some revelations. There is something very fishy going on, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you haven't seen the last episode, go back and check it out for sure. It's very exciting what's going on. We'll just get right into it. 16th April, 1:14 AM, Baker Street. The door to Windybank's. It's open. And the lamp is burning. It must be Gina, mustn't it?
Let us hope it's nothing more sinister.
What?
Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly something is afoot inside.
There's no one here.
Oh yes, there is.
Ah! Mr. Shams! Mr. Shams! What the? Has Shams been shot?
Leave me, Mr. Naruto!
But...
After them! Go!
Right! Blast! I've lost them!
Hello? What have you here?
The alarm was just raised from this pawnbroker, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me! It's my friend, Mr. Shams. He's been shot! Shot? With a policeman close behind me, I ran back to Windybank's.
Mr. Shams!
Mr. Naruto!
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door. In the storeroom. Hurry! It's Gina!
Oh my god. Okay, I'm not gonna cut this episode short, guys. We've been just recording for a few minutes, so I'm just gonna save. And keep on playing. I wanna know what's going on. I'll be alright, Mr. Naruto.
After them, go!
Behind that door in the storeroom.
Hurry!
It's Gina? From that moment, Windybank's pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of the police, the preliminary investigation of the scene, and the questioning. It was just before dawn before I was allowed back to my lodgings at 221B? _16th April, 6:21 AM. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Oh, Iris. A telegram came, but all it said was, "Wait at home." Oh yes, we asked one of the policemen to have it sent. It was simply impossible to come back. When I woke up, I was all alone. Hurley and Ginny were gone. Everyone was gone. What happened, Runo? Poor Iris, she's trembling. She's obviously trying very hard not to let herself get too worried. I'll explain everything that I know. Something awful has happened, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid so. Well, it's way too... Oh my god, I'm not gonna examine, I'm just gonna talk to... When's it Windy Banks? I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Iris, but Mr. Windybank is dead. He was shot. We discovered it in the early hours of the morning. Oh, yes, I had a feeling. You did? Well, I saw all of these police carriages pulling up outside his shop. So I knew something must have happened there. When we entered Windybanks in the small hours... we disturbed a gang of 2 thugs. They ran out onto the street and chased after them, but they got away. So, it was one of them who shot old Mr. Windybank, I suppose? I don't know, but that's not what the police believe at the moment. Oh, why not? They've arrested someone else as their prime suspect, you see. Gina. Ginny? But why? Well, the thing is... No! Ginny wouldn't do something like that! I know! None of us think she did it. Then why have they arrested her? I'm sorry. There was nothing I could do. Alright, but we're gonna talk about Sholmes' situation first, of course. So where's Hurley then? Is he still out there investigating the scene? He really ought to have some breakfast. It's not good for him to miss meals. I don't want you to worry, Iris, but I have some news about Mr. Sholmes. He was taken to the hospital this morning. What? Well, when we entered Windybanks, a gun was fired and he took a bullet. Hurley was shot! No! It's alright. His life isn't in danger. Really? Are you sure? Where is he? Which hospital? He's at St. Sinus. They're tending to him there. I must see him at once! I'm sorry, Iris, but you can't. Why not? That's not fair! I'm a family member, I should be allowed! No, I mean, nobody can see him at the moment. He's not allowed any visitors. They're preparing to operate, you see. To operate? Oh, poor Hurley! Alright, we're gonna talk about injured Sholmes. It was the 2 thugs who were in Mr. Windybank's shop. They shot Mr. Sholmes when we disturbed them, you see. It was pitch black inside the shop at the time. My mind went totally blank, I'm afraid. I just froze.
After them! Go!
After that, I ran out into the street, but... well, they were long gone. I shouldn't have hesitated. I'm so sorry, it's my fault. I let them get away. I think that's a very good thing. Sorry? Well, if you'd seen which way they went and chased after them, you might have been shot as well, Bruno. On top of everything else, I couldn't bear that. Oh, Iris. Alright, so let's talk about Susato's situation. Where's Susie, Runo? She's still at the police station. Oh, why? I expect she's still being questioned. The police said they wouldn't be finished for a while. Why aren't you there then? Well, I didn't get a good look at the criminals anyway, so they weren't questioning me for long. And Miss Susato stayed behind at the scene to tend to Mr. Sholmes, so they didn't get started until later. I see. Besides, one of us had to come back to be with Iris. I'm glad Inspector Gregson agreed to me leaving early. You should have let me know, and I would have come to the station. Alright, so let's talk about Gina's arrest. I don't understand why they arrested Ginny. It's not fair. What about the 2 thugs that were at the scene? Why aren't they the prime suspects? After all, They shot Hurley dead, didn't they? No, I mean, Mr. Sholmes isn't dead, Iris. Ah, this is also horrible. The thing is, Mr. Windybank was found on the floor in the storeroom where he keeps all the deposited articles. And the storeroom door was locked from the inside. I see. But he wasn't alone in there. Gina was found next to him on the floor as well. Oh no! And according to the detectives who investigated afterwards... Don't tell me there was no one else in the room? Yes, exactly. How did you know? It's the only explanation. Yes, the only explanation indeed. What do you mean by that, Bruno? Well, what can I say? I'm damned if I agree, damned if I don't. I'm afraid I'll need to go out again now, Iris. There's not much I can do at the moment. But I can at least try to find out how Mrs. Sholmes and Gina are getting on. I want to go too. Take me with you, Bruno. I can't stand just sitting around here waiting. I'm not sure how I feel about taking a 10-year-old child to the scene of a murder. But I don't want to leave her all alone here either. Alright then, Iris. Perhaps you can help me? Oh yes! I'd love to! Gina's at the prison. Mr. Sholmes is probably in his hospital bed. And don't forget we have to visit the crime scene. We need to conduct a thorough investigation. Ah, I can see you're ready for action. I imagine Iris would appreciate going to the hospital sooner rather than later. Alright, but now we're going to examine. We're gonna do that thoroughly. Of course we are going to. That spade has been in here since we started renting the place. Bruno, that's not a spade, it's a shovel. You're a shoveler, are you? I had a feeling you'd pick me up on that. Oh no, a pick is something else entirely. Now I've dug myself into an even deeper hole. Alright, so let's talk about the kettle. It's spring at last and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, how about some tea, Bruno? Thanks, Iris, but I'm alright for now. The green tea Susato-san makes me from time to time and Iris's unique herbal infusions. This place is a paradise for a true tea lover. If you're sure, you know I always have plenty whenever you're feeling thirsty. Alright. Thanks for that. We've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. Hurley's desk is far worse, you know. I'm sure if I try hard enough, I can make my desk as messy as Mr. Sholmes is. I wonder. You don't think I can? Well, it takes a certain genius to reach that level of disorder, you know. The path to true mess is long and arduous, as it seems. Well. Okay, so nothing else of interest here. Ah, there's the tea set. So this is the tea set that Miss Susato brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it, just so bitter. So this lovely green tea has quite an impact on Hurley, you know. He stopped putting milk and sugar in his coffee even. And Hurley is normally bitterly opposed to bitterness. Check out the disc. Oh, this looks like a telegram. It is, but you mustn't open it. No, not under any circumstances. Alright, I won't. Now then, let's see. No, what did I just say? You mustn't open it. Don't worry, I won't. With this special concoction I've developed, I'll be able to see through the envelope without having to open it. No, that's not allowed either. Oh, but I'm sure it's something important. Little geniuses sure can be mischievous. Well, that's good to know that she is mischievous. Let's look at the aquarium. We were rather lucky to find the old aquarium left behind here. The prawns we put in there are doing rather well, the anemones too. Apparently tanks like those were very popular in London before I was born. Oh, you mean they're not anymore? I think people discovered it was too much effort to clean them out and change the water all the time. I can believe that. Prawns and anemones are fun for a while. And let's have a look at Mr. Sato's door. Do you know, I've never seen inside Mr. Sato's room. I haven't so much as put my head around the door. Oh, Susie often invites me up. It's so much fun. Really? What's her room like? I can't tell you that. Oh. A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. Where have I heard that before? I suppose some things are the same the world over. Alright, so we checked everything out. That means we can finally move. A new location has been added. The prison! Okay, but we're gonna go to Sholmes' suite first. And examine thoroughly here first. It's an unusual way to make use of a huge metal chest as a table for tea and coffee. But it is a very sturdy box, and I've noticed that it's always locked. Oh, well, that's because that box contains some of my most important things. Which you have no intention of telling me more about, judging from that guarded smile. The fire is burning comfortingly in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow. Well, he's been working on his disguise recently. He's been dressing as a woman mainly. Really? Mr. Sholmes dresses in women's clothes. Yes, you see the lady in that photographic print on the mantelpiece? That's Hurley. He's quite stunning. Okay. Alright, let's look at the shelves. These are all mementos of Mr. Sheldon's past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wonder if the beefsteak from La Carnival would be on display here. Hurley says that Weggy is a memento too. What? How? He tried really hard to get the little fellow to stay on those shelves at first. But he had to give up on the end. Weggy just wouldn't keep still. Yes, funny that. Alright, so we checked out everything here. Let's check out Mr. Sholmes' part of the room first. Look at Mr. Sholmes' desk. It's completely clear. Looks totally different without that enormous machine on it. Hurley lives in an absolute mess all the time. He never notices when things go missing. Even Mr. Sholmes must have noticed that huge lump of metal is no longer there, surely. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, by the way, she is our assistant now, not Susato-san anymore. It's like a little bit of a reminiscence of Ace Attorney 2, where Pearls is our assistant instead of Maya. There's all sorts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. Yes, Hurley does tend to overload the shelves. That's one way of putting it. He wanted to look something up in one of those books the other day, you know. But he was so tightly crammed in, he gave up and went out to buy a brand new copy instead. Hurley, you're the best. Now this really is Mr. Sholmes' faithfully performing part then. The Stradivar, the Strappy Scar, the Scrappy Farius. No, it's no good, it's gone. The virtuosus violin that he found at the pawnbroker's and managed to buy for next to nothing. I hope Hurley gets well soon. I miss hearing his violin playing already. Oh, Iris, I'm sure he will. Yes, 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 we are very sure. Things are going to take a turn to the better for sure, because this is Ace Attorney. And cases don't go for the worst. We always have a happy end. That's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles too, but the contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems. I'm so close now. I've nearly developed a rainbow smoke grenade, you know. So you're still working on those colorful but funny explosives, are you? I tell you what, when I've perfected it, I'll fire the first shot at you, Runo. What an honor. Alright, the typewriter? Come to think of it, I haven't seen you doing much writing recently, Iris. But there's paper already set up in the typewriter, I notice, if you're about to start. I'm a little bit stuck for a new story idea, actually. Well, you could consider using what happened to Mr. Natsume, perhaps. Oh, yes! That's a fabulous idea, and a great title that has just popped into my head as well. The Adventure of the Catty Man! How's that, Bruno? Don't know about that. Don't know about that. Look at the tea service. Your beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of one of your special herbal blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling the strain. Poor Hurley. He hasn't had a drop of tea today. I wish I could take some to the hospital for him. Aww. Okay, that made me sad. That made me sad the way she said it. This is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? Let's see, what does it say today? Oh, the Buscombe Valley Mystery. We visited Buscombe Valley recently for a picnic, you see, but I forgot to bring tea. So when Hurley became thirsty, he decided to drink from Buscombe Pool. He gave himself an awfully tummy ache. Oh dear. Hurley said they're miserable as can be in that field of flowers after that, just like when you saw him yesterday. That really is an unsavory tale. Alright. Okay, I think we checked everything out, didn't we? So let's move. We were supposed to go to the hospital, right? Yeah, let's go to the hospital. This is going to be a long investigation, I feel like. We have a lot of places to check out. 16th April, Saint Sinner's Hospital, Ward 3. Hurley! Oh! He's not here! No, that's strange. The nurse definitely said he was in the bed by the window, didn't she? Oh, I know what's probably happened. Hurley was being a big baby, and the bullet wound wasn't that bad after all, so he's been sent home. I'm not so sure about that, baby or not. There's no question that it was a fairly serious injury that Mr. Sholmes suffered. Oh.
Hello, what have we here?
This ward is off limits.
No visiting. So what are you doing in here, huh?
Well, I have, we're Hurley's next of kin.
Huh? Oh. Well, begging your pardon then, ma'am. Sir. A little lady and a curious Eastern gentleman. The great mystery solver's a mysterious family, huh?
If that's how you see us, sure. Where is he, Constable? Where's Hurley?
I believe he is currently in the operating theater, ma'am, undergoing an extensive operation.
Extensive?
It has been several hours since he went in.
Oh dear, is he going to be alright?
Well, it doesn't appear to be working, you see. The anesthetic, that is.
Oh!
I've heard a report that the gentleman claims he may have a little too much to drink last night. Coffee, that is.
Huh.
Anyway, I think it would be fair to assume that he won't be back here for several hours yet.
I see. Thank you, Constable. Perhaps we should leave and come back later. Oh, poor Hurley. Well, it seems like we can't visit Mr. Sholmes yet, but we can check out his room. There is a notice board on the wall here. Look, let's see what does it say. Thought of the day: on seeing any woman, calmly and discreetly inform matron. Oh yes, they have rats and mice in hospitals like this that love to feast on all the medicine. If you don't deal with them, there's nothing left to treat the patients. Rats and mice? Oh, I see. This is a rather old building, I suppose. But the doctors and nurses are all very good, I hear. I certainly hope so for Mr. Sholmes' sake. Yes, I do hope so, because I don't want to lose him. He is super strange, totally over the top, but I love him. And I don't want anything to happen to him. So what is here? Oh, okay, let's check these out. I wonder what these are. Do you have any idea, Iris? Oh, Haven't you ever seen crutches before? Let me explain. They're for people with leg injuries to help them walk. You hold one under each arm, you see. Ah, right. I thought they were weapons of some sort. Why would there be weapons in a hospital? I thought maybe a fighter had been injured in a battle contest and been brought here along with his weapons. That's surprisingly plausible. It indeed is. That was actually very plausible. That is true. Okay, so let's move then. We could go to prison, but we're not going to because I don't think that makes any difference. Let's go to Baker Street. And we can examine. There is the carriage of the police. There's still a Scotland Yard carriage outside Windybanks. I never imagined we'd been investigating a case so close to home. Poor Iris. She's very upset by all this. I'm sorry, I was there. I should have done more. None of this is your fault, Bruno. So please don't apologize. But it's the criminals who are to blame for all this. So let's investigate and work out how to catch them. Yes, you're right. Ah, she knows how to do things. So we can check out here too. So she's gonna talk about her home. It's already been 2 months that we've been taking lodgings here above Mr. Sholmes' office. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this. When Hurley comes back home, let's have a big party. That's a great idea. I'm sure it won't be long. Mr. Sholmes is very tough. Yes. Okay, so she wouldn't talk about her home, but that's okay. So let's move then. Can we go to the pawnbrokery and check out the crime scene, I wonder? So apparently we can. But guys, that's gonna take some time, and we have already reached... No, we haven't reached the half-hour mark, but we are very close. So I'm gonna call it quits for this episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. If you want to see how things unfold, you'll have to tune in next time. See you then.